Coaches who turned average teams into champions. Back in 2004, the Egyptian national team was a mess. They just crashed out of the African Cup of Nations in the group stage and missed the World Cup again. Morale was low, the squad looked lost, and nobody expected much. But that's when everything changed. You see, Egypt made a bold move. Instead of hiring another big-name foreign coach, they gave the job to Hassan Shaheta, a local legend who understood Egyptian football inside and out. He wasn't flashy, he didn't have a European resume, but he had something more important: belief in his players. And in just 2 years, he shocked the entire continent. The thing is, by 2006, Egypt was hosting the Africa Cup of Nations. Hopes were sky high since Egypt had just missed out on World Cup qualifiers due to the awful position Shaheta had inherited from the coach before him, so the pressure was high. However, Shaheta managed to keep the team calm. He built a squad around chemistry, not just individual stars, while he trusted players from the local league. And the results were insane. They outscored their opponents 11-3 and went undefeated during the tournament, beating Ivory Coast in a dramatic penalty shootout to lift the trophy. But this wasn't a one-time miracle. He was just getting started. As it turns out, just 2 years later in 2008, a lot of hype from Egypt's win faded. Many dismissed their win as a fluke since they were the hosts, but Shaheta and Egypt quickly put that narrative to rest. They completely dominated Samuel Eto'o's Cameroon in their opening match as they were leading 4-1, but Cameroon was rewarded a questionable penalty in the 90th minute. They also beat Didier Drogba and Ivory Coast 4-1 in the semi-final, while defeating Cameroon once again in the final by a late Mohamed Aboutrika goal thanks to a steal by Mohamed Zidane. As the commentator famously said,
زيدان وسونك قوم يا زيدان 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 وسونك زيدان وسونك هيا هيا أبو تريكة.
but there was still one main problem. Shaheta couldn't break Egypt's curse of qualifying for the World Cup. Even outside of Africa, he was getting insane results, like when Egypt upset Italy 1-0 in the Confederations Cup and went toe-to-toe with Brazil, only to lose 4-3 by a stoppage time penalty kick. But when it came time for the World Cup qualifiers, they were defeated in a playoff tiebreaker match by one of their North African rivals, Algeria. So once again, people started labeling Shaheta's success with the national team as a fluke. But then he did something no one else had ever did before. What I mean is that in 2010, the African Cup came around once again, and this time Shaheta was ready to lay all these fluke narratives to rest. Egypt would go on and win every single match during this tournament, beating some of the biggest names in Africa, including a 3-1 win against Nigeria, a 3-1 win against Cameroon, a 4-0 win against Algeria, and a 1-0 win against Ghana in the final to make them become the first ever team to win 3 African Cups in a row. And all of this was after they were looking incredibly average before Shaheta took over.